Stand by. The program will begin soon.
When I see an American flag, I immediately look at that I'm like, that person's probably a bigot. That person's probably a homophobe. That person's probably a racist if they're just flying American flags out everywhere.
Hold up. Hey, this sounds more like a you problem. You should probably go see somebody about that.
We got over $5 million per year from the American taxpayers, being given no bid contracts from Maine Governor Janet Mills, and is building a military in Somalia. He has been funneling money back to Somalia to build a military in Somalia. The guy is running a migrant services agency that bills Maine Care, which is what we call Medicaid, about $5 million a year. Oh no, those illegal immigrants aren't getting any Medicare. And then he said he raised money in the U.S. to buy weapons, munitions, and supplies for a paramilitary force he had hoped to lead as the president of Jubaland. Yes, that's a real state in Somalia. And to be clear, in Somalia, he's running to be the warlord of Jubaland. Elections in Jubaland aren't exactly like elections in America. It's whoever has the most guns is able to certify the election. So he needed to buy a paramilitary organization and paramilitary support in order to win the election. Avocados Diablias asked if you could bring any one comic strip character to life and train them to be a hitman, who would you choose? Oh, that's the easiest question ever. Calvin. Calvin. Oh, look, Stop Double Nation, you and I are on the same page. Calvin. From Calvin and Hobbes. Yes. And by God, Calvin would be the greatest hitman to ever live. Better than John Wick. I guarantee it. I didn't have to think of it.
Stand by. The program will begin soon.
Yes, it's true. The Obama administration deported over 3 million people, and the Biden administration, over 4 million people. But they didn't need troops. They didn't need military in the streets to do it. Tell me why. Put it in the chat. Tell me why you think that's that.
Because when Obama and Biden were in office, there were no riots in the streets of Los Angeles, even though 80% of the deportations were also expedited with no hearing. But you didn't give a shit then. Now that Trump's in office, you suddenly give a shit. Hope that helps.
That turkey was amazing, mostly because I cooked it, because I'm really good at cooking turkey. So one of my tricks that new tricks that I do, you know how when you cook a turkey in a pan, even if you got one of those raised pans, it always happens. You cook this turkey and the breast of the turkey get all nice, the top gets all nice and brown, and then you go to cut the underside and the thighs and legs are like all white underneath and not even done. Well, there's a trick you can do to avoid that. What you do is you cook the bird upside down for at least 1/3 of the cooking time. So you end up browning the bottom and sealing that first, even more so. And the other thing I do is I start my oven at 500 degrees. The first 45 minutes to an hour, you put it at 500 degrees, and then you turn it down to 325 and do the rest of the cooking. But anyway, do it upside down, and 1/3 of the way through, then you flip the bird back over in the pan, and the entire bird gets finished at the same time. So apparently, in Europe, you can refer to Americans as pigs, but not convicted rapist. The German court gives woman harsher punishment than convicted. I hate it when people say rapist. I'll just say unwanted sexual activity peoples for calling him a disgraceful pig. She called someone convicted of that crime a disgraceful pig and got a harsher punishment than the person who actually committed unwanted sexual activity. And so that's why people were posting that story about the German court gives women harsher punishment than convicted unwanted sexual activity.
Stand by. The program will begin soon.
There's a story about this man too. He led the attack on Pearl Harbor but died a Christian missionary on December 7, 1941. Captain Mitsuo Fuchida flew the lead plane against Pearl Harbor, shouting the famous code, Tora, Tora, Tora. He hated America. But after the war, he met a former American POW, Jacob DeSager, who had returned to Japan not to punish him, but to preach the gospel. Shocked by this forgiveness, Fuchida bought a Bible. He converted to Christianity in 1950. The man who started the Pacific War spent the rest of his life touring the U.S. and Japan preaching, quote, I was a follower of the sword. Now I'm a follower of the cross. Amazing. Nearly 5 years after pipe bombs were discovered outside the headquarters of the Democratic National Committee and the Republican National Committee in Washington, D.C., a suspect has been arrested in the case. On Thursday, federal agents arrested Brian Cole Jr., 30 of Woodbridge, Virginia, and he was charged with transportation of explosive devices, blah, 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 blah. But on Friday, legacy media outlets began reporting that Cole, this young black man right here, was a Trump supporter. And I'm not saying he's not because he's black. I'm just saying there's other evidence that might support the fact that he's not a Trump supporter. But we'll get to that. Quote, Brian Cole worked for a bail bonds company run by his father that worked to free illegal immigrants from ICE facilities and sued the Trump administration's Department of Homeland Security. He worked for his dad. They tried to free illegal immigrants. Interesting. Yes, I know every Trump supporter, every black supporter, Trump supporter, would be quick to hire Benjamin Crump, who represented the family of Trayvon Martin, attempting to sic the Biden administration Department of Justice on a local Tennessee prosecutor who had raised concerns about the bail bond company. We'll find out eventually that this guy had wanted nothing to do.
Additionally, if you open this up to ice fishing, while on the surface it sounds good, then what happens next year? Does someone come back and say, I want an ice shanty on Hudson Springs Park for X amount of time? And if you then allow ice fishing with shanties, then that leads to another problem. Prostitution. And now you've got the police chief and the police department involved. Just data points to consider.
It is Happy Bill of Rights Day on December 15, 1791. The Commonwealth of Virginia ratified the Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments to the U.S. Constitution. George Mason and James Madison were the driving forces behind these guarantees of individual rights. And note that all the individual rights that are in the Bill of Rights are not rights granted by the government. Those are the inalienable rights which the government shall not infringe. And if you notice, it's interesting because the Bill of Rights is all about what the government cannot do, not what the government can do. And I think kind of got away from that a little bit, where some people seem to think that the government is going to grant you rights. No, these are rights you have, whether it's a government or not, and the rights that the government must protect for you. So it was a unique thing when it came about in 1791. one, that government is not there to grant you or give you privileges, but rather to protect the rights that you have.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only PDawgKnight.
Yes! Yes! I hope I didn't scare anybody by screaming, yes! Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as PDawgKnight on the internet. Welcome back to the PDawgKnight Channel on this Monday, the 16th of February, 2026. I hope everyone had a lovely Valentine's Day. I hope you got your groove on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know, Lady Boomer and I, well, I shouldn't tell you everything, but we had a lovely, lovely Valentine's Day. Okay, I'm lying. We don't celebrate Valentine's Day because our anniversary is next weekend. So we got to allow my daughter and her husband to have a lovely Valentine's Day by taking the two little ones and having a fun day with them. We took them to a place called Tiny Town where they got to run around and, I don't know, see stuff. We bought them some new shoes. We went to the shoe store, went to the Children's Museum in St. Paul. That was awesome. And we had a beautiful day with our granddaughters, the 2-year-old and the 4-year-old. And soon there'll be an upcoming 0-year-old because in May she's due with her 3rd. So we had a great weekend. And then yesterday we binge watched some show on Netflix. Like we saw all the episodes that were available and just chilled all day. So I hope you had a good weekend. Did anyone do anything special for Valentine's Day? Out of curiosity, you may or may not have a Valentine. I don't know. I hope you did something nice, or even, and if you don't do Valentine's Day, that's okay too. Let me know. I want to know. Anyway, I want to know what you did on Valentine's Day. And I thought I changed this. All right, I'm resetting the stream label so that whoever's the first sponsor will be the super sponsor of the day. The first one. Anyway, let's see how I can get it going. I want to talk about this nitwit because, oh my God, people are just posting clips left and right of her little venture to Germany and talking about, I guess, foreign policy and stuff. That, holy shit, is she stupid? But also she's dumb too, because you can be both. I think. Can you be both dumb and stupid? Okay, yeah, see? I knew it. I knew you could be. So let's say hi and get it going. First, the chat day. Kara Soldier gets the boom! Thank you for being here. You got here first. You just inched out. Somnambul Nation, good morning. And Avocados Diabli. Johnny, wake up. Avocados Diabli. Jeez. You just can't get good help these days. Also, good morning to the Popes here. Pope Tyrannius III, the Blessed Lich, with today's message of hope, not from the Father, not from the Son, but from the Holy Ghost. Yes, today's message of hope is blessing of the Holy Ghost. Today, I want you to give a compliment to everyone you interact with. Yes, including your enemies. The path to friendship begins with a few kind words. Be brave and walk it. You want to pay attention, please? Stay up. It's a little late on the trigger today. Let's go. Okay. God, Johnny, what's up? You better be posting shit in the chat too, Johnny. I'm telling you. See you. Okay, you're in there. I see you. Okay. So there you go. Also, good morning, Blue Eyed Scream. What's up? Young Miss Midnight saying hi to everybody and his unholy queen, and Ms. Wild Wolf's here. Johnny's in the chat. Unacceptable Views, my other favorite Canadian. Yes. Hey, what's up with you Canadians and the Swedes these days? There's a story about y'all. Y'all seem to be having a little fight going on here. You know what I'm saying? Also, good morning, Maddie. What's up? And let's see, JB. What up, Jay Blizz is in the house. Nice to have you. There's Brent Hayes. What up? And that seems about everybody. That seems to be okay. Okay, so yeah. So we're all here. At least everyone who's here is here. And if you haven't said hi in the chat yet, please do, just so I can say hi back to you. Because I like to know who's here. And 20 people in the chat. 3 likes. What the hell? Hit the like button, damn it. What the hell's wrong with you? Oh, Darren Root, what up? You two had an update. Looks like nothing changed. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I had updates on 3 different things I opened up today, and I skipped them all because I was already kind of running later than I wanted to. And also X was down this morning. Did you know that? That's news. Okay, let's do this. Let's start with the people who I have to thank for sharing the stream so far. Somnambul Nation, of course, always Johnny on the spot, as opposed to you. What's going on with you today? Thank you. We'll repost that. And let's see. Oh, speaking of AOC. Oh, this is good. Here's speaking of AOC, Somnambul Nation gave us this little ditty.
All right, Johnny, tell us about the next item that old Alexandria What's-Her-Nuts here probably won't win.
All right, Bob, we have a surprise for you today. It's the all-new Antifa and Black Lives Matter approved protester printing press made by Soros.
I should have.
For all of your protest sign needs at home,
I probably
should have
on the road checked this first.
Whenever your whiny ass feels the need to protest, print up your protest sign instantly for all of your protest needs. Made by Soros.
All right, nice. Very nice. I've never seen that one before. That's pretty funny. Thank you. I'm going to even share that because, got to do it. Ms. Wild Wolf, thank you for sharing the show as always and giving us that cute little kitty dancing. Do I look like the kitty? I don't know what I'm doing here. That's nuts. But I'm going to repost it anyway. And also thank you, Tyre, Alexander, and Ms. Wild Wolf, and Somnambul Nation for reposting my stream, my post of the stream, and Ric Flair. Woo! Thank you, Tyre, of course. Got to throw a little Ric Flair in there every day. And who's this? Midnight. I can't share it, but I can sure like it. And Simon's got some, what are you showing me today? Some more battery art. Oh, God! Oh my God. What's with the lasagna in the picture though? I don't get it. And then there's more batteries just sitting around and more batteries and some those, but you know what? Does anyone know? Okay, I got a question. Do you have, wherever you live, do you have these things on your sidewalks or like at curbs? Does anyone know what those are for? Are those for like helping wheelchairs stop or something? What the hell are these bumps for? Anybody? Hello, Taka, by the way. Anyone know what those bumps are for? Because they've been redoing all our little crosswalks and sidewalks. Are they for traction? Oh, I see. Well, is it though? Is it for traction? Because they're actually slippier than the concrete. I don't get it. And but they're starting to put them in at all the little crosswalks, making handicap access crosswalks and shit. But yeah, bumpity bumps. Yeah, bumpy bumps. That's what they're called. But we'll post it. You know what? If you put it down here, I'll repost it for, well, unless it's some, if any of y'all start putting like titty pics up and shit, I'm not doing it. And then a let's go from Simon Wilkins. So thanks everybody sharing the stream. Appreciate it. You are great. And if you haven't hit that click that thing up at the top, it's going away right now because I'm going to put up the link to the show, Streamlabs. If you want to drop a nickel or a dime in the tip jar, we'd appreciate it greatly. We'll repost. Where's the place? There, replace pin message. So there you go. If you want to share, thank you, Johnny. Finally paying attention. So there you go. All right. What is with the brightness on this motherfucker though? God dang. I'm trying to not, I'm trying to, what do you call it? I'm trying to diminish my whiteness. This screen is not helping. Holy shite, that is bright. Turn that shit down. Here, does that work? Is that better? There you go. Now you can see I got at least a little bit of a tan. God, dog. I know I'm light skinned, but damn. All right, enough of that shit. Let's move on to some news. Holidays. Let's celebrate first. Today's President's Day. Anyone excited about President's Day? When I was a kid, we had Washington's birthday, we had Lincoln's birthday, but then they decided to change to President's Day, and then they added MLK Day, so you still got a January. But did any of y'all have a school district where the kids get off of school way too often? I swear to God, when my kids were in high school especially, my God, it seemed like they had like every Friday off for some dumb reason, conference, and this and that, and blah, blah, blah. Then they'd have the President's Day, and they'd have the Martin Luther King Day, they'd have this day and that day. I was like, do y'all ever go to school? At least they were in high school where I didn't have to worry about it, like, because my daughter could drive herself, and my son usually rode with one of his friends because he didn't like to ride with his sister. But now, well, anyway, happy President's Day. Honor those presidents you care about and laugh at the ones you don't. It's also Family Day. I never heard that one. Is that like, I don't see the Hallmark cards for Family Day yet. Because I've seen Hallmark cards for Grandmother's Day, and I haven't seen a Grandfather's Day. I've seen Father's Day, Mother's Day, Grandmother's Day. I haven't seen any others. And don't you dare try to make me buy a card for Kids Day, because every freaking day is Kids Day. Homie, don't play that, okay? Innovation Day, discover the possibilities of innovation on Innovation Day. Mahasi Day. I don't know what country that's in, but it's a lot of letters and vowels. National Almond Day. If you like almonds, go pick you up an Almond Joy, okay? But then if you don't like coconuts, don't pick up an Almond Joy, because coconut is definitely a feature of Almond Joy. But it's National Almond Day, so yeah. The Day of the Illustrious Puerto Ricans. What? Oh, and Carnival started in Brazil and probably every other place that does Mardi Gras Carnival stuff. Apparently Mardi Gras is coming up here. Tim Tam Day. Apparently Tim Tams are delicious, crunchy biscuits coated in creamy chocolate. What more can you want? Is that like a Kit Kat with no caramel? I don't know. Do a Groucho favor day. I know it. I know who. I shouldn't. I probably shouldn't say too much about that. Someone came immediately to mind. Good morning, Zach Osborne. How you doing? Nice to have you here, brother. Okay. Kyoto Protocol Day. Uruguay Carnival. It's Carnival in every place that does Carnival. So it's because, we're getting up. Was it already Fat Tuesday yet? Is tomorrow Fat Tuesday? Is that tomorrow? I don't know. I can't remember. All right. Enough about that. Let's get into some news. First, as I mentioned earlier, X had an outage this morning, which cramped my style a little bit, but not too much, because it came up just before I started the show, and I was like, oh, here, scramble, get some stuff on the screen. And then I got some articles open too, which I don't know what I'm going to get to today, but this happened. A widespread outage struck X starting at around 8:42 a.m. Eastern time, with Down Detector blogging over 41,000 reports of app failures, 53%, timeline issues, 21%, and website glitches, 17%. The disruption affected users in the U.S., India, Europe, and beyond, confirmed international by net blocks and not tied to any country blocks. No word yet from X or Elon Musk as to the cause or fix, though reports eased slightly by 9 a.m. Eastern time, which is about the time that I got on X. Well, no, roughly. So there you go. X went down. X has been down. Anybody else? Yeah. And everyone's asking, is X down? Oh, X is down. Oh, do you see if X? Yeah, it was down. It was obvious. You couldn't get on there. How'd you even post to find out if someone knew it was down? Okay, next. What else? Let's talk about this little dust up between Canada and Sweden. Is Sweden the neutral country or Switzerland? No, that's Switzerland, right? They're in the neutral. Yeah. Anyway, Sweden and Canada about to come to blows over some Olympic shit. I was laughing so hard when I saw this because I've seen, about hockey fights, right? And every once in a while you get a fight in football. Once in a while you might have a dust up in baseball where someone charges the mound. This was almost a fight over curling. During Friday's round robin game, someone named Erickson accused someone named Kennedy of illegally retouching his stone. Oh, that sounds a little extra special. He retouched his stone. Oh yeah. Oh, no. After the wait, oh no. I should have let it play for a little longer. Here, let me do this. He accused Kennedy of retouching his stone after the hog line. Oh my. Monitored Kennedy's next shots and issued Canada a verbal warning for his profanity-laced response, but no penalties were called as Canada won 8-6. Kennedy later apologized to young fans in the CBC interview, saying he could have handled it better while defending his play. So let's see if we can find the video. I'm sure it won't take me long to scroll, but this is indicative of how this is a great illustration of what happened. Okay, it's a perfect illustration. So here we go. Sweden knew Canada's Mark Kennedy was a notorious cheater. A cheater. They set up a camera at the hog line to record it and caught him doing it at the Olympic. Wait a minute. Because he was touching the stone. Who's that? Brent 2634. Did AOC call Azerbaijan Algeria like Trump did? I don't know. Look, I'm gonna talk about what I want to talk about, and you can come here and tell me what you want me to talk about, and I will still talk about what I want to talk about. But I'm glad you're here. Welcome to the show. Yeah, look. There's a difference between faux pas, which Trump has a lot of them. I make fun of Trump when he misspeaks too. So get over yourself. Anyway, but welcome. Enjoy the show. Just stick around. I may entertain you at some point. So anyway, there was this big dust up. I didn't even know that. Okay. You know, the Olympic Training Center for curling used to be in Chaska, Minnesota, not about 25 miles from where I live. And they have a big, it's a world-class curling, whatever you call it, ice. It's ice specifically for curling, okay? Anyway, so where is it? Here it is. Cheating allegations. Cheating allegations. In the Winter Olympics, tensions flared in curling world at the Winter Olympics as accusations of cheating and audible profanity overshadowed a heated showdown between the powerhouse men's teams, Canada, and Sweden. Hello, Woodcutter. What's up? Welcome. All right, now here's this controversy. All right, let's start with this video here. I think this is show it.
You have to try.
Släpp 2 poäng för dem, men de ville helst inte det heller.
Nej, precis, det var ju det. It's okay touching the rock after the hog line. I don't know. Or touching the rock. Who's doing it? You don't know it? Who? It's a couple. Who?
They're about to go to blows.
I haven't done it once.
Look,
you can fuck off.
Oh, no!
I haven't done it once.
No!
How about you walking around on my peel and last day and dancing around the house here? How about that? Come on, Oscar, just fuck off.
No, yes, no touching my Rocky. No touchy. No touchy.
Yeah, go.
Oh my God. Brenta, do you ever just have fun with things? Do you ever just enjoy life and not take everything so seriously? I actually enjoy curling. Curling is I live in Minnesota. Curling is a huge here. People love curling here. And I actually enjoy watching curling during the Olympics, even though it's the only time I ever watch it. But it's fun because it's kind of like playing shuffleboard on a cruise ship, or it's kind of like playing cornhole or horseshoes. It's just one of those games that's interesting to watch. So you know what? If you don't like it, you don't have to hang. I get it. Not everything is for you, honey. Okay? Not everything's for you. Okay? So there you go. Anyway, the controversy is here. No, they don't. Not telling them. I shouldn't tell them to leave. You don't have to leave. You can hang around all you want. but just if you want to know about the AOC and geography thing, I will get to it. I talk about a lot of different things during my show. Okay. All right. Anyway, so the controversy is that this guy was touching the stone past the hog line. The hog line is the line where you have to stop touching the stone, right? And so let's see if the pictures here. They had, oh, here it is. Watch. Now, here's the camera they had set up, and he's let go. He's let go. He's still touching. Let go. Right there. Now, the question is, if anyone knows the rules of curling, okay, if anyone knows the rules of curling, I'm just curious. When must he no longer be touching the stone? When it hits the first part of the hog line or before it crosses the hog line? That's the question. That is the question. It's like a Shakespearean drama. To touch or not to touch? That is the question. So anyway, so there was a little F off there in there and little drama and, and then the memes, of course, the memes. All right. So anyway, fun. Let's move on. Next on the show, let's see. What was this? Oh, I just did a little video about Billie Eilish and talking about her statement at the Grammys about no one's illegal on stolen land, and I thought you're right, Billie, you're right. If no one's illegal on stolen land, perhaps your stolen land that you purchased for $14 million there in California, maybe you should just donate that to a tribe or just give it back. Do that Midnight Oil thing. I'm gonna give it back. Do. Who knows the song? Good morning, Zach Osborne. Good morning, Selected Boy.
Yeah, boy.
Nice to have you here. Oh, Zach, you were here earlier. Good morning, Selected Boy. Yeah, and Tyler F. I see you there. All right. Anyway, so this dude from Australia, was kind of having fun with this, right? Yes, Midnight Oil, this is a great band. I'm glad you know that. See, Brenta, you and I have something in common. I enjoy Midnight Oil. And, that song was a big hit when I was in college? That must have been when I was in college. Anyway, let's see here. Now, so this dude, Drew Pavlu, was kind of making a joke about Billie Eilish's stolen land thing. Hi, Patio Furniture, by the way. About Billie Eilish and the stolen land thing, and he was going to come to the United States and go camp out on Billie Eilish's backyard. And he apparently was trying to come to America, or United States, for those who don't like us calling it America. I'm going to guess there's one person in the chat who doesn't like that. And, but he got turned away. Now, he turned away because he had the wrong visa, right? But he's kind of been making a joke about this the whole time. So he made a joke that Billie Eilish just called ICE on him and had him deported. And so that's the joke going around. And some people are taking this very seriously and some people are just laughing about it. And so anyway, his name's Drew Pavlu and he's from Australia. Hi, Green Badger. Let's see here. Drew performance art update. Billie Eilish got me deported from the U.S. I think her legal team contacted DHS. I spent 30 hours at LAX immigration trying to explain that my shitposts were just a joke and that I didn't actually plan to personally move into her mansion. Honestly, most of the agents were nice and laughed at the idea, but there was nothing I could do. Maybe evil leftists are still in charge of sections of bureaucracy. I guess some people are, in fact, actually illegal on stolen land. I guess I'm just a bad guy. Honestly, I am legitimately one of the most misunderstood theorists, artists of the 21st century. Now, again, he's just playing this up as a joke, actually. And so, let's see. He's been milking this, and it's funny, and I appreciate him for it. So there you go. All right, let's move on. What else do we got? I'm getting to that geography thing there. What Brenta? Is it Brent A or is it Brenta like Brenda? I'm curious. All right. Now, several U.S. politicians, I guess, or some politicians were invited to go to Germany on what was this thing? Here, well, let's start with Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton was one of the first people that I noticed on this tip, so to speak. Hillary Clinton says migration into the West has gone too far, which surprised me. Oh, it's Brent A. Okay, thank you. Unfortunately, one thing that bothers me that YouTube's done recently, as many of you who are regulars here know, is they stop putting the names that people want to be called in my chat, and they put the @ names, and I don't know how to fix it. I want them to change it back so I can call people by the names they want, because a lot of people aren't called by their @ names. So it's always curious. Hello, Midnight in Exile. What's up? So anyway, so Hillary went to this thing in Germany and basically did that faux pas. Now, she's not technically a politician, so I suppose she can go and bash the United States wherever she wants. But like politicians who are like like AOC or whoever else went, you're not really supposed to talk foreign policy outside of your country. That's kind of and John Terry did that during the first Trump administration. Trump did that during, well, I don't know if he did it outside the country during Biden administration, but it's just kind of a faux pas. You don't, you leave foreign policy to the people in charge of foreign policy. Now, let's go to this part first. Hillary Clinton says migration into the West has gone too far. Oh, what? Hillary said this? Speaking on a panel at the Munich Security Conference. And I don't know why AOC was invited to the Munich Security Conference. I just have no idea. But anyway, she was there too. Former U.S. Secretary of State said migration went too far and needs fixing through secure borders handled humanely. Oh, she's saying that we're not doing it humanely. She pointed to a higher deportation numbers under Bill Clinton and Barack Obama compared to Donald Trump's terms, backed by historical data showing over 12 million removals in the 1990s and 5 million under Obama. Her comments split opinions sharply, with conservatives seeing validation for tough policies and progressive calling out past actions like interventions in Honduras and Libya. Now, there's this interesting theory or myth or whatever you want to call it, that there's been a big difference. No, I did not say Siri phone, turn off, end, quit, cancel. Shut up. Okay. That the whole system is so much different now than it was when other people were president. And the reality is it's not. The same numbers of percentages of people that do not have criminal records. Oh, it's funny because they keep going violent criminal records, but criminal records. Roughly the same percentage of expedited deportations are happening. And back when it was Clinton, it was with INS because ICE didn't exist. But INS was basically the same thing. They just changed the name after 2001. It hasn't changed that much. And in fact, those cages, the cages we're talking about. They keep talking about the kids in cages. That those photos, the famous photos of the kids in cages, were from 2014. Now, I don't even think Trump even smelled the presidency at that point. So anyway, she was, let's just see a couple clips that people are posting about this, because I'm curious myself, and I haven't watched them all. I've watched a couple. Which one is this one? Let's try this one first.
More people were deported under my husband and Barack Obama without killing American citizens.
False! She's already told a lie, or a misinformation for those who prefer it that way. No, people died in detention during the Barack Obama presidency. That actually happened. It's kind of weird that she says that.
And without putting children into detention camps.
False. The 2014 kids in cages pictures were under the president that was president in 2014. So that's a lie. And also, by the way, the detention camps. Oh, you can't handle it. Oh, I'm sorry, Brent. It's hard listening to people who don't agree with you, because I do it all the time, but I don't know. I know not everyone can handle that. Not everyone can handle that. It's okay. It's all good.
Than were in the first Trump term or this first year of Trump's second term.
Yeah, that's false, though. That's absolutely false. If you want to abolish ICE, that's cool. I think ICE has a purpose. I don't think they're doing the job very well, but I don't think they need to be abolished. And in fact, that is their job, is to. I'm not okay with you. Oh, is that? Which fascists are we talking about here, Brent? Which fascists? If you want to study fascism, you might be surprised who's more similar. But I now, if you're talking about authoritarians, I think this government's bordering on getting a little too authoritarian too in some ways. And I'm not a fan of the unitarian president idea. So you might be surprised at some of my views on things, but which fascists are we talking about? Because you'd be amazing if you'd be amazed at how fascism isn't necessarily all right wing. Okay. So anyway, all right, back to Hillary here.
So I think it's important to look more.
So that's interesting that she says that, because that's a lie. There's documented deaths during the Obama time too. So it's not like that this is something new. And also, if you look at the deaths during this time, almost all of them are medical complications. When you figure you have, so they had at any given time they've had 70,000 temporary detainees. Because remember, these detainees aren't staying. These detainees, the average amount of time they're spending in the detention centers is about 42 days. There's a 90-day limit, and most are deported within 42 days. Okay, that's what because these are not like permanent detention, because they always try to compare them to concentration camps, but concentration camps, nobody left. And in these detention centers, if you actually look at the data, people are being deported, and deportation is an administrative solution to being in the country legally. It's not a punishment legally. Okay, if you go to like full due process for people who enter the country legally, punishment would be jail, fines, and deportation. Deportation is the administrative punishment for being in the country legally. So anyway, let's move on. Let's see. There's another one here. Here's let's see. While some of the right grow timid on deportations and propose amnesty, even Hillary Clinton criticizes mass migration for global elites. Well, let's see what this one says. This is the same clip or no?
I think we need to call it for what it is. There is a legitimate reason to have a debate about things like migration. It went too far. It's been disruptive and destabilizing, and it needs to be fixed in a humane way with secure borders that don't torture and kill people. I think.
Yeah, it's interesting. Again, the torture and kill people. See, now that's an interesting way to put it. Because, look, detention is no fun, I'm sure. But the torture and kill people, that's interesting. Interesting way to put it. All right, let's see. More people. All right, so that was that. Also, during this conference, there was a Czech politician that did not make Hillary Clinton very happy. During the Munich Security Conference, Czech Deputy Prime Minister Petr Masinka pummeled Hillary Clinton with truth. She tried to talk about women's rights in Ukraine as digression away from the points he was making. McKenna began mocking her TDS. Oh, now, who's wrote this? Oh, Independence. I'd never heard of the Independent Sentinel. I just saw the clip earlier, and this is the only place I could find it. Let me see if I can find where he began speaking. I think it's in this. It's in this clip here. Let's try here. Let's see. Is this it?
A lot of progress this one word, Gaza.
No, but more creep.
I think it's
here's the section I wanted to show you. Let's do this one. Here we go.
Each other and not to label the.
Wait, whoa! Wait a minute, Brent. You are a racist. Who are you talking to? Are you talking to Woodcutter? Who? Wait. Let me ask you something there, Brent. Am I a racist? Just curious. Am I a racist, Brent? Do you think I'm a racist? What did Woodcut say that made you call him a racist? You read Umbrella Echo's 14 characters of you. Who the fuck is Umberto Eco? I don't give a fuck who that is. Communism, fascism, and National Socialism are all political economic systems. Right. I ain't calling people racist in here. I'll have to go look that up now that but I am curious. Who is it? Let me write that down. Umberto Echoes. Okay, well, let's check that out. Did he already leave? HP, if anyone here is a racist. Look, I don't know why a bunch of racists want to sit here and listen to a black man speak. That's all I'm curious. Anyway, let's get here's the section where this Czech guy just kind of rips into Hillary Clinton.
First, I think we should try to learn to listen to each other and not to label the ideological opponent as the public enemy. We are here on the West, and let's respect ourselves in the differences we have. So I don't really like such a labeling as fascist. I think it's
there are fascists in the world.
Well, maybe there are, but
including in Europe.
I think there are. It ended some 70 or 80 years ago.
No, it hasn't.
Hopefully, this is something I don't really like. That every day, every time I hear labeling someone as fascist or
listen to this, Brent, listen to this.
Or Nazist or whatever. I think we should calm down because this is dividing the society. We are maybe you are smart people. I'm not as smart as you, but so we should try to learn to talk to each other again, because this is something that went too far. I don't want to talk about the Ukraine because it's the whole day talks, important talks. I listened to President Zelensky what he's saying, and he's got the horrible position. I'm not sure if Ukraine is able to use the military to beat Russia. That would be perfect. That would be perfect. But I think we should be realistic. So the first should be the ceasefire. I don't know how to make it. I think that I don't want to repeat myself. That
no. All right. Thank you for the points you made, Ivan.
I want to say something on hypocrisy, because it's a very important thing. Once, 3 or 4 years ago, we had this big project on hypocrisy, and we visited several countries.
Can you just say who we is? I mean,
there was a group of academics.
That was this
if you want to visit a country and to get the meeting at the highest level, put hypocrisy in the title. There is no world leader outside of the West who is not going to meet you, and for good reasons. I'm saying this because, in my view, and this was very clear in Davos, is there are two different versions of liberal hypocrisy. One is the one that came from Carney, and to be honest, Carney very much identified with the criticism of the liberal hypocrisy. He said, listen, people from the non-Western countries, they're saying, yes, everything is equal, but you're treating Ukraine and Gaza differently. He's right. And there was also President Trump. By the way, President Trump cannot be accused of being hypocritical. But no, this is true, because his major argument is the biggest hypocrisy of the international order is that countries are equal. They're not equal. They are strong countries and they are weak countries. The only problem is that we know that countries are not equal. I'm Bulgarian. It never came to my mind that we're equal to the United States. But there is this idea of hypocritical idea of equality, which is so important in order to have any order. And what I'm afraid is that the moment when we say the world without hypocrisy, we're saying simply the world in which there is only power. And from this point of view, you're redefining American exceptionalism as being exceptionally powerful. But then this is a risk. Be sure that if somebody more powerful is going to come, you're not going to have a moral authority anymore. Because in the world in which everything is about power, where is the reasons for the small countries to distinguish between United States and China? Where is the to distinguish between this and that? Yeah. And in my view, this is the problem of hypocrisy. There is one thing that could be even worse than liberal hypocrisy, and there is the world with no hypocrisy at all.
Now, interesting point he's making there, how, you know, there's only powerful and not powerful. You know, I keep watching this thing with the European Union and Europe in general, and the argument that Trump makes about, and some of them also buy into this, that they need to step up their own military and become their own protectors and not have us be their protectors always, and be a partner, not protector. And so that's an interesting conversation. So anyway, and then also there's another article here in PJ Media. Hillary Clinton, former American All-Star American leader, took the stage in Munich expecting to stroll on familiar ground. The setting felt friendly, crowd leaned globalist, and the talking points seemed well rehearsed. Then a Czech politician, calmly stepping outside of the approved script, asked a question that did not flatter the room. It was as if 1,000 voices in the forest suddenly vanished, then the room temperature changed. Czech Deputy Prime Minister Peter Masinka challenged the prevailing narratives on sovereignty, migration, and Western leadership. He spoke, he didn't shout, he didn't posture, he simply disagreed. Clinton's composure tightened and her facial expression stiffened. Her famous temper flickered across her face in full public view. The exchange quickly spread online, showing Clinton sharply reacting to Masinka remains measured. It was a contrast that told the story better than any summary could dream of. A widely shared Facebook clip captured the moment from a different angle, showing how visibly irritated Clinton grew as her preferred narrative met resistance. Yeah, she just sounded extremely mad. Yes, European rearmament was news 6 months ago. Well, it's news now too, because they were talking about it. Okay, that's what they were just talking about. That's basically what he's referencing. And good. It's good that they're doing that. That they're living up to their NATO obligations a little more now. They're starting to. Anyway, so if you want to read the full article on this, let's get to AOC, because I know that's what you're waiting for, Brent. You're waiting for, why did I bring up AOC? AOC was also invited to this conference, and there's several clips. By the way, just FYI, here's Hillary Clinton just claimed that Obama didn't put kids in detention camps. Well, here's a 2014 clip from the Associated Press.
Inside the walls of this facility along the Arizona-New Mexico border, at least 1,000 kids, some as young as elementary age. They huddle in foil blankets in a country not their own.
Wait a minute, what? Hold up, wait a minute, hold up. Wait a minute. What was that? What was that? I thought it was only, she said, they didn't detain any kids. Didn't she just say that?
Border, at least 1,000 kids, some as young as elementary age. They huddle in foil blankets in a country not their own. Captured by Border Patrol agents.
Now I'm gonna give the Obama some grace here on this. When you have unaccompanied minors being sent across the border by their families, you got to do something with them. So I'm not bashing, but I'm just amazed that they forget that this wasn't new.
They came here illegally. It's the first public look from immigration officials on what might be the country's fastest growing immigration problem. According to U.S. Customs and Border Protection, nearly 25,000 unaccompanied minors crossed the Mexico border in 2013. So far in 2014, that number.
And over the last, 8 or 9 years, it's upwards of almost 1 million. Just unaccompanied minors. Remember, and they've sent a bunch of them off, 300,000. They still don't know where they are. They sent them off to be taken care of somewhere, and they have no accountability for them over the last 5 years, particularly the 4 years before this last year. So 300,000 they're missing.
Number has almost doubled to nearly 47,000. Some may eventually be reunited with friends and family in the States, while others may be transferred to private shelters where they'll wait in a country ill-equipped to handle their needs as it comes to grip with a growing.
So anyway, that's from the AP. That's not Fox News. It's not Breitbart or whatever. What's the other one? Newsmax. It's not. That's the AP from 2014. So Hillary can kindly shut the fuck up about that. But let's talk about AOC. Now, now I haven't seen this clip. It popped up while I was setting up the show. But this is a super cut of AOC, and then we'll get to some other little more substantive, because I'm sure this is edited in a way to put her in her worst light. So let's just start with this, and then we'll kind of do fuller clips to see what she actually said. I'm just curious of what this is, though. AOC takes on Munich. I hate when they put music in this shit. Let's
was a pure appeal to Western culture. My favorite part was when he said that American cowboys came from Spain.
I thought they came from Winnetou, but
I believe the Mexicans and descendants of African enslaved peoples would like to have a word.
Okay, that's a clip that a lot of people are talking about. The vaqueros in the Andalusian region of Spain is kind of the origin of the cowboy, so to speak, and by the way, Mexico was settled by Spain. In fact, most of the land south of Colorado was settled by Spain until we bought some of it. But yeah, nope. Go on. What's next?
Should the U.S. actually commit U.S. troops to defend Taiwan if China were to?
Oh, I remember this. This is the word salad answer from Friday. I saw this. Listen to this answer. Question is, should the U.S. Cowboys as a concept came from gauchos, and gauchos as a concept also came from Spain. In northern Spain, they were known as gauchos. In southern Spain, they were known as vaqueros. So both from Spain. Just telling you, just saying.
You know, I think that this is such a, I think that this is of course a very long-standing policy of the United States. And I think what we are hoping for is that we want to make sure that we never get to that point. And we want to make sure that we are moving in all.
That's a tough answer. You know, look, and you know what? When you don't know how to answer something, I'm not going to. I wonder why they brought her there to the Munich Security Conference. Is she planning on running for the Senate? Is that what it is? And so she's trying to get her bona fides. Maybe not a good idea to send her there. Let me just stop this. I'm gonna go with the other clips. You can watch that one later. But here it is. So first of all, she went on a tangent about whiteness, which was weird, you know. And you know me, I don't give a shit about the whiteness debate. Hello, Godzilla. What's up? Alexander Ocasio-Cortez told European leaders in Munich that there is a big difference between whiteness and actual national cultures. Well, of course there is. Yeah, right. But, oh, man. Anyway, she describes whiteness as an imaginary construct while noting that being German, Italian, English is real with rich heritage. You know what? I'm not going to say she's wrong, but when they talk about whiteness, basically they try to pin that to American culture, which some people say there is no such thing as American culture. Yeah, you know, I'll tell you what American culture is. Try driving on the roads in the United States and then go try and drive it on the roads of Nigeria. I've done that, by the way. And it's night and day. There's a culture to driving. There's all kinds of things that are American culture. Anyway, here's what she said. Oh, hell. There we go. Come on.
Difference between whiteness and national, like your actual culture, right? Whiteness is an imaginary thing. Being German is real. Being Italian is real. Being English. These are rich cultural heritages that are based on values, and they are so much a part of what make our cultures and our societies what they are. There's a
yeah, well, here, and I know they love to talk about this. Oh, whiteness is about privilege and power, nothing to do with skin color. Oh, so then I have white privilege then? Is that what you're saying? They're substituting whiteness for American Western culture, basically. So it's one of those annoying things that I get tired of hearing this argument, because not everything that they call whiteness is bad, because they'll say, oh, well, having to be on time is whiteness. Is it? Or is that just an American thing? My grandparents hated when people were late for shit. That wasn't because of any whiteness, my very black grandparents. That was because they didn't like people being late. Your race is a social construct. But there is in a sense, not race itself, but how people creating hierarchies in race is what the social construct is. It's not like there aren't different peoples, but I've certainly stepped out of the social construct when I dated and married my wife. So, it's funny. It's kind of funny. You could go, okay, phenotypes are a social construct. No, those actually are things. Anyway. All right. So anyway, and also this is the other part here. Is this still the whiteness thing? I can't remember.
There's a very big difference.
Oh, that's the same clip. So that's one of the things she said while she was there. Here's another one. Oh, and this one's talking. Oh, let's play the clip, and then we'll see what the commentary on it is.
Marco Rubio's speech was a pure appeal to Western culture. I think it's also important to note how...
Wait a minute. Wait, whoa. To Western culture. Which one? That's interesting, because the other clip we just played, she was talking about different cultures in the West. Which Western culture? Which Western culture?
Thin that foundation is. Culture is changing. Culture always changed. Culture for the entire history of human civilization has been a fluid, evolving thing that is a response to the conditions that we live in. And so they want to take this mantle of culture. At the end of the day, though, it is very thin. And so the response that we have to have is, again, it's material, it's class-based, it's common interest. Marco Rubio's...
That's an interesting bit of word salad there. I have no idea what she's trying to say. I kind of have an idea what she's trying to say, but...
Speech
again,
was a pure appeal to
That's a lot of words to say really nothing. That's a lot of words to say nothing. Now, here, let's get to the geography lesson, though, because this is the one you were wondering about, Brett, and this is what the title of the show is, just because I thought it was funny, because I caught it immediately when she said it. Here it is. Listen carefully. Now, and then if you were just waiting for this particular nugget, this is what I was talking about. Listen carefully to what she says here.
It is not a remark on who Maduro was as a leader. He canceled elections. He was an anti-democratic leader. That doesn't mean that we can kidnap a head of state and engage in acts of war just because the nation is below the equator.
catch it? Did you catch it? Did you catch the geography lesson there? This was the one I was... The title's a joke here. This is a joke. Because my titles are usually something silly about whatever that's in my list of things to talk about today. You didn't catch it? Oh, we'll play it again. Here, listen carefully. Listen carefully. See if you catch it.
And it is not a remark on who Maduro was as a leader. He canceled elections. He was an anti-democratic leader. That doesn't mean that we can kidnap a head of state and engage in acts of war just because the nation is below the equator.
Catch it? Avocado Diablo caught it. Venezuela is north of the equator. Not that that's a big deal. I just thought it was funny. I just thought it was funny. And again, lots of people make statements like that. Biden did it. Trump did it. Obama did it. 57 states. George Bush did it all the time. Misspoke, said silly things, whatever. That was the Geography 101. That's why I said Geography 101. Just missed it by that much, AOC. Missed it by that much. But anyway, a lot of people are jumping on the horse thing, though. And, okay, this is fact check. No part of Venezuela is below the equator. Now, that depends, though. That depends. It depends on whether you consider the North Pole the top or the South Pole the top. You know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? If you consider the South Pole to be the top of the world, then it's below the equator. I mean, come on. You can, whatever. So anyway, I just thought it was funny. And here's the, well, I don't know what that is, Brandlin. All right. So, yeah, that's cute, funny, whatever. But here's the one that a lot of people are also kind of talking about. Let's play this clip. This is the...
Rubio's speech was a pure appeal to Western culture.
I think they clipped this.
My favorite part was when he said that American cowboys came from Spain.
I thought they came from Winnetou, but...
I believe the Mexicans and descendants of African enslaved peoples would like to have a word on that.
Okay. Now this is one that got people really riled up, and I was kind of surprised because claiming that cowboys, when he said it came from Spain, again we go back to the vaqueros and the gauchos, because the original gauchos were in Spain. It's a region, I think, in Spain. So anyway, so a lot of people were kind of up in arms about that. Many people want to make fun of AOC, and rightfully so. She's ain't wrong. However, you're missing what happened. The race communism that has been taught in our schools since 1960 has taken effect and completely rewritten history. AOC and her followers legitimately think that somehow the Mexicans and blacks were responsible for cowboys. Never mind that the Mexicans, speak Spanish. Well, because they were, again, it's almost like she doesn't realize that Spain colonized Mexico. Spain colonized everything south of here, and then somehow the Portuguese end up with Brazil. But this is all part of the Spanish Empire. So the practice of using horses for herding livestock stuff was going on in Spain for centuries before they even discovered here. Anyway, the entire generation currently believes nonsense like this, and they think that you are misinformed and racist for thinking otherwise. So where did the cowboys come from? Who were the first? In what areas of the United States did they originate from? Well, they didn't originate here. It was a continuation of practices they had in Europe, in Spain. And and when she said African Americans, now I know what she meant by that, because there is a rich history of the cattle handlers being American slaves in the South, and they're the ones who ride and herded cattle and stuff, and they were known as cowboys. But again, they weren't the original cowboys. by any stretch. So I know where she was going with that, but she kind of got it pretty wrong. Spanish vaquero culture shaped both Mexican charros and U.S. cowboys. Blacks have nothing to do with it. Well, the enslaved people were ones who picked up on that too. Spanish vaquero influenced the rest of Latin America. In fact, Dominican, Spanish Creoles, I can't say it, were the first vaqueros, cowboys in the America before Mexico and the USA. First cowboys in America emerged in early Spanish Hispaniola island in the 1500s. Dominican Criollos, I can't say it very well because my Spanish sucks, were the first American-born vaqueros and helped spread cattle culture across Spanish Americas. Spain introduced horses and cattle to Hispaniola in the 1490s. The island quickly developed large free-range herds and cattle ranches. By the early 1500s, Spanish settlers, followed by locally born Dominican Criollos, were already riding horses, herding cattle, branding, and managing ranches, the core activities of the vaqueros. Hispaniola became the cattle source for the entire Caribbean and mainland America, spreading ranching and cowboy practices outward from Santo Domingo. Dominican vaqueros, cowboys in the Dominican Republic, whatever. So in the Dominican island, that is the Dominican Republic and Haiti, is where the first Spanish vaqueros started popping up, and they spread out from there. So that's a good history lesson that I did not know before I read that, other than people were all up in arms about this. I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's why. All right. The other day, Friday, I was fascinated by the fact that this woman, what is her name again? She called Jeffrey Epstein uncle. I found it fascinating. What is her name? Real quick. It's Rumler. Rumler, the former Obama White House counsel, who was very, very close with Jeffrey Epstein long after he had been convicted the first time. But none of the news stories mentioned that she was the White House counsel under the Obama administration. She was almost the attorney general after, who's the wingman guy? I'm blanking out on his name now. Eric Holder. She was almost the attorney general after Eric Holder. But that didn't happen. So, and none of the articles that mentioned her stepping down from Goldman Sachs mentioned that, which is uncanny. Because I know had it been a former White House counsel of George W. Bush or Donald Trump or even Bill Clinton, if it had been a White House counsel under Bill Clinton, because Bill Clinton already had ties to Epstein, that would have been like the lead part of the story, that former White House counsel under Bill Clinton or former White House counsel under Donald Trump or former White House counsel under George W. Bush was pen pals with Jeffrey Epstein, basically. But not the one under Obama. I was so curious about that. And maybe it's because Trump's president now that they didn't do it. And so, so now this is Zero Hedge calling the Obama administration prostitution scandal and the Rumler-Epstein connection. Epstein and Obama advanced team member Jonathan Dach, D-A-C-H, caught with a prostitute in Cartagena hotel room, and Obama's then top lawyer, Rumler, attempted to cover it up, which cost her the Obama attorney general job. And now she just quit her $25 million a year job at Goldman Sachs. So they have a kind of a timeline here. Do you remember the Secret Service prostitution scandal? Now, I completely just forgot about this because there were no scandals in the Obama administration. Give you a little wink there. But the prostitution scandal, remember that they said that the Secret Service had, they would getting prostitutes down, and I don't even remember what country it was in. So anyway, here's a recap. Nearly 24 Secret Service agents and members of the military were punished or fired following the 2012 scandal in Colombia. Obama administration officials repeatedly denied anyone from the White House was involved. But new details drawn from government documents and interviews show that senior White House aides were given information at the time suggesting that a prostitute was an overnight guest in the hotel room of a presidential advance team member. Yet that information was never thoroughly investigated or publicly acknowledged. The information that the Secret Service shared with the White House, including hotel records and firsthand accounts, the same types of evidence the agency and military relied on to determine who in their ranks was involved. So Rumler, the White House counsel, and Obama covered up the prostitution scandal, instead blamed the Secret Service, and 10 members lost their jobs. Now, you can read through that. I'm not going to read through all that, but you know what happened. You remember that. So who did who did order the Colombian hooker? I just love talking about Colombian hookers, I guess. Turns out it was 25-year-old presidential advance team member Jonathan Dawg, D-A-C-H, who was staying at room 513 at the Cartagena Hotel Hilton. Dawg was a nobody, but Dawg's father, Leslie Dawg, a huge financial backer of Obama, wasn't a nobody. So the Yale law student declined to be interviewed through this attorney, denied hiring a prostitute or bringing anyone to his hotel room. Dawg has long made the same denials to White House officials. Dawg this year started working full-time in the Obama administration on federal contract as a policy advisor for the Office on Global Women's Issues at the State Department. Dawg's father, Leslie Dawg, is a prominent Democratic donor who gave $23,900 to the party in 2008 and helped elect Obama. His previous job as top lobbyist for Walmart, he partnered with the White House on high-profile projects, including Michelle Obama's Let's Move campaign. So a lot of detail about that, right? But then there was a cover-up. The cover-up, though. Oh, wait, here, let me go down to this part. This is important. One senior administration official who spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss sensitive information said Rumler believed it would be a real scandal if she had sent a team of people to Colombia to investigate a volunteer over something that's not a criminal act. That would be insane. So she covered it up. Okay. So next, there was a cover-up orchestrated by Rumler and Jay Carney to avoid implicating Dawg and his dad, a huge Democrat donor, while throwing the Secret Service under the bus. So they threw the Secret Service under the bus after this kid had a prostitute, right? And as an aside, Dawg's hooker had seemingly impeccable Instagram taste. The woman who had posted photos of herself in undergarments in front of the Summit of America's signs in Cartagena. Why do I keep saying that name wrong? Cartagena. Cartagena. At the time of the trip. Okay, so it's a long and very detailed article. That's the hooker, I think, and then. But my fascination with this last week was when Rumler when she's resigned, and not one article mentioned her being like the former White House counsel. I'm still dumbfounded by that. That not one media outlet mentioned her being former White House counsel. I don't even think, I didn't see an article in Fox News. I saw NBC, I saw CNN, I saw AP, and I saw Reuters. Why does this matter? Just look, why does it matter? Because it's how the optics go. Okay. Why do one of the things that people love to say, oh, there were never any scandals during the Obama administration. Well, bullshit. There were all kinds of scandals during the Obama administration. But they weren't treated as scandals. The Fast and Furious wasn't treated as a scandal of the Obama administration. It was a scandal of the Attorney General's office. The kids in cages, not an Obama scandal. That's just how it worked then. Now it's a scandal. And just little things like this puts this halo over the Obama administration. It's just crazy. So, let's move on here. Oh, what's this? Oh, by the way, this is a follow-up post on this. First of all, at this point, the cover-up of Dawg's prostitution scandal only got bigger and included Charles Edwards, the acting inspector general, and then Homeland Security Secretary Janet Napolitano. But also, he put, okay, fine, some kid bangs a hot Colombian hooker, and Obama throws 10 Secret Service agents out of the bus to protect one of his top financial backers. It just happens all the time. Yeah. That's why it's important, because the story's coming out that they threw those 10 Secret Service agents out of the bus to protect a big donor and his kid who worked for the Obama administration. Because no scandals whatsoever. All right, I got to run this down. Here's some articles that I have that are open that I didn't even touch yet. Minnesota professor conducts classroom ice drill. White students were told to shield vulnerable classmates. Was this at the U? This is at the University of Minnesota. While fire drills are a commonplace occurrence in schools nationwide, one professor at the University of Minnesota has identified an even greater threat, Immigration, Customs, and Enforcement, aka ICE, and decided to prepare her students accordingly. Professor Blanca Caldas Chumbes is an assistant professor in the multilingual education and elementary education at the College of Education and Human Development at the University of Minnesota, a department that has way too long of a name. The professor has made no attempt to hide her far-left ideological leanings. Her PhD dissertation received an award from the Activist Research Grant Initiative Award, which is partially sponsored by the Social Justice Institute. But her recent actions forcing her students to participate in an ICE drill designed to impede federal immigration officers in the unlikely event that they visit her classroom may have been a step too far. Oh, interesting. A brave student whistleblower brought the potentially criminal attempt to hinder immigration enforcement to the public attention by exposing the so-called anti-ICE drill in an interview with media outlet Alpha News. So I'll put a link to that interview if you want to read that. Identified only by her pseudonym Angela to protect herself from retaliation, the student explained how Professor Caldas Chumbes introduced the topic of the ICE drill in her Culture, Power, and Education class, a required course for those majoring in elementary education and seeking to be future teachers. First, the professor displayed an image on the screen of the specific steps that they were supposed to take in the event that ICE were to appear in our classroom door. Then the class was forced to rehearse the actions their professor dictated. So what they do, like form a circle around the Hispanic students or something? What the hell? Anyway, you can read that. That's in front page, and then also I have the Alpha News article here. Looks like Liz Collins might have did a report on it. Daily Wire. Let's see. What was this headline? What the hell happened there? Why is this not showing up? Did my internet die? No. Oh, by the way, I know what the story is, though. A middle school geography class in Henderson, Minnesota, students were expected to watch a video by a British broadcaster that was showdown in Discord if British shows. Oh, okay. Gotcha. 8th grade students at a middle school were taught in geography class that immigration and customs enforcement use tricky and violent tactics and were given extra credit for watching a British-produced video on the problem of illegal immigration in the United States. Material obtained by Defending Education showed that the students at Hermantown Community School were given a highly politicized lesson, shocker, on illegal immigration and ICE operations. The material included a PowerPoint that adopted left-wing talking points on immigration and a video produced by a British broadcaster on ICE operations in Chicago. If you want to watch that video, I have it linked in the links today. I'll drop that in the chat in a second. But the instruction at the Duluth area school took place in December 2025, featured a PowerPoint where students were asked, in what ways do you think people ICE agents have gone too far? Rather than just asking them, hey, what do you think of these actions of ICE agents? You already poisoned it by saying, in what ways do you think ICE goes too far? The answer said that ICE agents use tricky and violent tactics, that people have died in ICE custody, which is true since their inception, because some people die naturally. You know, it's funny. There was a list the other day, because someone was talking about, they said they've killed 60 people in ICE custody. And I said, wait a minute, you're using an active verb, killed, for these people who have died in custody. Now, anytime you have, let's say 100,000 people go through custody. There was like 70,000 at any given time that are in custody while they're going through the process of being deported. In any group of 70 to 100,000 people over a year, you would expect probably, now, well, if it was normal age range population, probably 600 deaths. Okay. But even if it's a narrow age range, say 50 and other, working age people, you would expect between 48 and 60 deaths. I looked this up, by the way. So people die in law enforcement custody all the time because people have sickness, illness, whatever. And every case, there was an article documenting like all cases of people who've died in custody, and all but like 5 died in a hospital of medical complications, medical issues that were, some of them were before they were caught. And so the idea that you say they're killing people, killing's an active verb. No, they're not. They're not. So anyway, if you want to write that article, that's there. Other headlines that I'm not going to get to, because that's time for me to go. This one in Legal Insurrection, talking about how the Minnesota insurgency needs to be addressed. Yeah, this whole organized, like, skirting of the law probably is not a good model for how the world works. Although, look, and I'm not, I got to make something clear. I'm not a huge law enforcement guy. I'm thinking about that. And I've been kind of, I haven't necessarily been cheerleading guys because I know I don't like the things that they're doing wrong, but they do have a purpose. And I am pro ICE without being gung-ho ICE. You know what I mean? I'm like I don't think ICE should leave. I think ICE should do their job using proper methods and whatever. And sometimes, to the dismay of people who don't understand this, due process is a little bit different depending on what things are being due process. For example, due process does not mean you always get a hearing. Sometimes due process in these cases where they're catching people who are here illegally, they've already had their due process. They already have deportation orders. Or if they're expedited removals, which have been going on since the Clinton administration, of people who cross the border illegally and they know that they have, those expedited removals, that is the due process. It doesn't mean you go to a hearing. Now, they can, in some cases, they can appeal when they're in the process. That's why that young Irishman guy who's been here for 20 years on an expired visa, the reason he's still in custody is because he's fighting his deportation. So while he's fighting his deportation, the law says, and it's explicit in the law, that people who violate that can be detained. And so that's why he's being detained. He's choosing to be detained rather than be deported. And being deported is not a punishment under the law. Being deported is an administrative remedy for you being in the country illegally. Punishment would be going to court and getting jail time, a fine, and then being deported. So a lot of people, if you want to muck up the courts and end up being in jail, get jail time, as the law would say it requires, well, that's great. But if you just want to go through the administrative process of being deported, well, they're giving you some options to do that on your own or with the help of a friendly neighborhood federal agent. So pick your pick. Anyway, So that's an interesting article, legal extortion. I read it, but I don't have time to go through it. Also, ICE detention re-engineering plan will expand capacity, speed the deportation of criminal aliens. Now that's interesting. And probably a good article to go through. This one here, though, speaking of Billie Eilish and the stolen land theory, this is a great article in American Thinker, just talking about the whole talking point of stolen land and land acknowledgements. Like I said last week, hey, if you're a white person, you know, and I suppose there's some black people who do this too, but it's always white liberal women who do this, who start a meeting with a land acknowledgement, like, hey, we're on stolen land. My suggestion to you, if you're a white person starting with a land acknowledgement, again, give it back. Dun, dun, dun. Just saying. Legal insurrection. Also, Gavin Newsom compares ICE to Nazis, secret police. This is also at the Munich Security Conference. Again, an American politician on foreign soil criticizing the United States. Not a good look, Gavin. Not a good look, brother. Do it here. Don't do it away, okay? You go away. If you're not inside the United States, zip it, bitch. That's my opinion. Trump derangement syndrome has hit a sick new low. What is this one about? I don't think I even read this. I just like the title. Here it is. This lady, she posted this. Today, I went to the northwest area of Rochester. After hearing that there was ICE activity in the area, I located the dark gray Durango, Nebraska plates, blah, 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 and 3 agents inside following a woman in her car. They followed her to Walmart, where I interacted with them while completely staying within my rights. Did you obstruct what they were doing? They took pictures of me inside and outside of my car. This is a Facebook post, apparently. Inside and outside my car for simply exercising my right. I will share the video of this interaction. They very clearly were running my plates and trying to obtain information about me in an effort to intimidate me. Once they left Walmart, they drove 35 minutes and 35 miles all the way to Claremont to my old address in another attempt to intimidate me. They called me by name and told me they were making sure you made it home safe. And when I told them I didn't live there, they attempted to belittle me and lie about the person they were earlier attempting to detain. I'll share that video as well. Once they left, they drove to the Dodge County Courthouse to proceed to talk to the sheriff. This behavior, intimidation, and harassment of ICE is continuing on display is unacceptable, and we need to make sure they know that we aren't going to stop because of their feeble attempts. We have numbers. We have the power. Remember, ICE ICE melts under resistance. Now, the reason they wrote this article, though, is because they told the women, look, we're going after a specific criminal, and let's see, what is it? Here it is. The state stripped away any illusion about what drives these ICE agitators. After Jensen screamed race traitor at a Hispanic agent, he calmly explained they were hunting a child molester. She called him a liar. The other agent stepped in with a reality check. If you actually cared, you would also care about the child who got raped and also by the person who got murdered by the person we are looking for. That's when Jensen said the quiet part out loud. She admitted she didn't care. I keep asking this question. I keep asking the question over and over. Who can we deport? And in fact, the next time I see people on a bridge, because you drive around the Twin Cities like you drive it on the interstate, and the overhead bridges, a bunch of them, a lot of times you'll see ICE protesters up in the bridge holding signs, trying to get people to honk or whatever. There's some around the corner of my house too. I'm going to go ask them the next time I see them. I'm going to take my video and go ask them, because they're usually a bunch of old white ladies anyway. I'm going to ask them, okay, here's my question. Who can we deport? Who can we deport? And I'm going to ask them, who can we legally deport? And see if they say, well, nobody. We don't want to deport anybody. Why? And then why? I want that answer. I want that answer. I don't think the beta is going to show, but on the positive side of it, we got Marty, a new Discord follower in Discord. Okay, cool. Who can we deport? If you don't care about that person that committed those heinous acts, who can you deport? And finally, Don Lemon has pled not guilty in the church protest charges. We might go into that a little more tomorrow, but there's a link here. And I got a couple other articles open. Also, the aggregators here. Let me close this up and wind it down. Thank you, everybody, for joining me today on the Morning Night Live. And if you're new here, hit the subscribe or do what you do. And if you're just watching, if you're just lurking, say hi next time. Hope to see you again. All right. This white screen on my on here does not look good. So let me just, it has nothing to do with being white. I'm just fine with white. It's all good. Anyway, so here are the links for today. And that's it. I'll have them in the description also. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful Monday at the beginning of the week. Oh, you mentioned what I did on Valentine's Day? Yes, I did. I hung out with my granddaughters. That was great. All right, got to go. Thanks. My name's PDawgKnight. I'm out of here. Bye-bye.
Hey, this is PDawgKnight, and thank you for watching today on the PDawgKnight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterward so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through the Streamlabs link, which is also in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here.